What's up, guys? It's Dr. Jim. I am your CBD expert and your natural healthcare expert and the creator of the world's first online health transformation program. And I want to welcome you to this live. I'm excited to get you on. Tonight's topic is going to be exciting. The topic tonight is CBD oil. All right? CBD oil, Crohn's, colitis, and celiac. All right? So it's a really important topic. I've had a lot of people reach out to me this week. A number of people asked me about Crohn's, so I wanted to do a live about it. We're talking about CBD oil, Crohn's, colitis, and celiac. Just a real quick disclaimer. I'm not your doctor tonight. You're not my patient tonight. There's nothing about this video that constitutes a doctor-patient relationship. So please don't change anything about your current medical treatment without talking to your doctor. I am not your doctor right now. So don't do anything just radically because you heard me talk about something really cool in this video. Number two, CBD oil is not a drug. Okay, that's important. CBD is not a drug. It's a natural supplement. Therefore, excuse me, we don't use it to medically treat any specific disease or condition. So those are my disclaimers. Get those out of the way. So once again, tonight's hot topic is CBD oil, Crohn's, colitis, and celiac. So research, I found that close to 2 million Americans suffer from ulcerative colitis, and irritable bowel disease, which includes colitis and Crohn's disease. And then about another 3 million Americans suffer from celiac. Now, if you put IBS in there, you've now ballooned that up to roughly 10 to 25% of the population. So how important is this topic tonight? It's huge. It's really important. So let's talk about what these conditions are. So number one, Crohn's disease. Now, Crohn's disease is an inflammatory bowel disease that affects from basically the input to the output, all right? But it most commonly affects the end of the small intestine and the beginning of the large intestine, all right? Then you have ulcerative colitis. Now, just like its name suggests, it's an inflammatory bowel disease that creates ulcerations in the colon. And then celiac disease is an autoimmune condition triggered by reactions to gluten. And then that makes your own immune system attack the lining of your small intestine. All right? So a lot of people are confused of what the differences are. So that should at least give you the where they're at and where they affect. Now, all of them, though, are ultimately inflammatory bowel diseases. They're all very autoimmune. They're either autoimmune or autoimmune-like. And they can really result in really serious health complications. Many people that suffer with these conditions have, they end up suffering from things like malnutrition, okay? That you can even get obstructive bowel disease because the scarring and the damage will block, and people have to get parts of their colon removed and parts of their small intestine removed. So this is serious, serious business, all right? So that's why we're talking about it tonight. Now, the other problem has to do with what's the current treatment for for inflammatory bowel diseases? Well, typically because they're inflammatory, a lot of times they'll give people anti-inflammatories. And those can be things like aspirin or Advil or ibuprofen. Now, I have a question for you. What is the thing they always tell you that if you take too much Advil, it can do? What? It can kill your stomach, right? So guess what? Doesn't do very well. It actually tends to make the problem worse, not better. The other things they do are steroids, things like prednisone. Now, I don't know about you if you've ever been on prednisone long-term, or if you've seen anybody that's been on prednisone long-term. There's some serious negative side effects to being on prednisone long-term. And then the newest class are the immunosuppressant drugs, very much like things like Remicade. So, and they use that for all autoimmune conditions because we know autoimmune conditions like these are an imbalance of the immune system. So instead of balancing the immune system, all they do is they suppress both sides. So they balance it by suppressing the immune system. Well, I don't know about you, but I don't want to suppress my immune system because I know my immune system, like I don't want to die from pneumonia. I don't want to die from the flu. I don't want to get a serious fungal infection. I don't want to get cancer. These are all things that I know my immune system is there helping me fight. I don't want to suppress it. So you can imagine that these medications all have sort of their side effects that are concerning. Now, I have a question for you. What if there was a natural substance? You know where I'm going with this, ladies and gentlemen. What if there was a natural substance that was safe, it was non-addictive, non-toxic, completely natural, it didn't cost $1,000+ a month, and it could have a positive impact in inflammatory bowel diseases? What do you think about that? Would that be cool? Well, guess what? That's what CBD oil can do for us. CBD oil can have a positive impact on people that have inflammatory bowel diseases, and I'm going to go ahead and get into really the three main reasons in how I think it can help. Number one, pain and inflammation. Well, there's a lot of, it's called inflammatory bowel disease. We know there's the gut, all the small intestine, large intestine, they're inflamed, they're irritated, it causes pain. Well, inside of your body, in your immune system, all of your immune cells have what are called cannabinoid receptors. And they're all over your immune system cells. And 80% of your immune system lives inside of your gut. And these CB receptors respond to cannabinoids, like in CBD oil. So CBD can actually attach to these CB receptors on your immune cells, and it helps modulate the inflammatory response. It helps modulate the immune system. So you can actually turn down inflammation. Now, if these are called inflammatory bowel diseases, and you can turn down or calm down or modulate inflammation, how cool is that? Wouldn't that be great? Isn't that what you want? You want to turn down the inflammation when your gut's all inflamed? So you can have a really great effect on inflammatory bowel diseases by being able to modulate the immune system with CBD oil. Now, most of the pain that goes along with that is from the inflammation. So if you turn down the inflammation, you can have a very positive impact on the pain. All right, so that's number one. There's CB receptors all over your immune system, and CBD helps balance that so you can reduce inflammation and pain in your gut. All right, now number two has to do with the microbiome. The world and what's going on with microbiome research right now is incredible. In the next couple months, I'm going to have some amazing things to talk about the microbiome, so keep tuning into me. But let's just suffice to say, there is more DNA, there are more cells in your gut that are not you than actually living cells of your own body. Think about that. There are more cells living in your gut than your whole body has of cells. Does that blow your mind? It blows my mind every time I think about it. But this is called your microbiome. And think about it like it's the interaction between the good bacteria, the bad bacteria, viruses, parasites, yeast, funguses, all these things that live in there. Well, guess what they found out? They have found out that in inflammatory bowel diseases, there's problems with this microbiota. All right, there are problems, like basically there's got too many bad guys and not enough good guys, and these bad guys create inflammation in the gut, the bad bacteria. Well, guess what they found out CBD oil can do? This is awesome stuff. CBD oil, think about it like a weed killer, right? Let's say you want a lush green lawn. We're going to say that the good bacteria in your gut, your microbiota is like your lawn. And you want a nice green lawn full of good, healthy grass. But all these weeds have crept in there, and they're trying to crowd out the grass, which makes it look like my front yard, all right? Well, guess what? They found out that CBD oil actually it's almost like a weed killer. It goes in and it helps clear out, and it helps inhibit the growth of the bad guys. So if you're killing off bad guys, guess what that allows? It allows the good guys to grow, all right? So CBD oil for the microbiota has been shown to reduce the bad guys so that the good guys can flourish. And that is going to have a huge positive impact on people with inflammatory bowel diseases, because we know that these bad guys create inflammation in the gut. So sort of reducing the bad guys and increasing the good guys is going to be awesome. All right. So that's level number 2. Now, this is something that I think is really cool, and anxiety. Now, what they found out is people that have inflammatory bowel diseases are literally 2 times as likely to also have an anxiety condition. Are you kidding me? Like, isn't that amazing? Like, literally 100% more likely to have an anxiety condition if you also have an irritable bowel problem. And they also found out that, like, anxiety attacks can trigger inflammatory bowel disease as much as inflammatory bowel disease causes anxiety. Now, this is something cool about that. We know that inside your gut, like literally 90% of the serotonin in your body is produced in your gut. So if you have an inflamed gut, what is that going to do to your serotonin production? You think it's going to have a negative impact? Well, you think that might be a driver of anxiety. If you can't make serotonin in your gut, maybe it'll give you some anxiety. So guess what? If we can bring down inflammation in the gut, then your body's going to be able to produce more of the serotonin that we want. And we know that CBD oil can bring down that inflammation. Here's number 2. When it comes to that, my buddy John Burke, what's up? So what we know is that CBD oil not only, that threw me for a second. We also know that CBD oil acts on the 5-HT1A receptor in the brain. All right. Now, the 5-HT1A receptor is the receptor for serotonin. So it literally attaches to the receptor and acts like serotonin. So if you have anxiety from inflammatory bowel disease, not only is it going to reduce the inflammation so you can make serotonin, but it's also going to attach to your serotonin receptors and act like serotonin. So it's going to help relieve the anxiety associated with inflammatory bowel disease. And we know that people that have inflammatory bowel disease are literally 2 times as likely to have anxiety as somebody who doesn't. So that kind of information just blows my mind. I'm so excited. So if you have an inflammatory bowel disease, all right, whether you have Crohn's or colitis or celiac disease, or even if you have IBS, if you have any of those conditions, I highly recommend that you get CBD oil for all the reasons I just talked about. Now, if you want the CBD oil that I recommend, because it's a fantastic oil, it's really pure, it's grown here in the United States, it's been lab tested 1,000,000 times, and it's pure and it's clear of a bunch of junk. If you want the CBD oil that I recommend, I highly recommend. They'll send you this video, go ahead and message them back, and they'll send you the link, and you can order from them, okay? This is part number 2. So, to recap, CBD oil, Crohn's, colitis, and celiac, all right? How does it help? Well, number 1, we know that it helps control the pain and inflammation because there are CB receptors on the cells in your gut. And we know that CBD oil attaches to those receptors and helps modulate your immune system. It modulates the inflammatory response, helps bring balance to your immune system, which helps reduce pain and inflammation. Number 2, we know that it has an incredibly positive impact on the microbiota of the gut. And we know that there's good guys and bad guys in there. And when the bad guys get out of control, your gut suffers and it gets inflamed and it drives ulcerative colitis and Crohn's. And we have found out through the research that CBD oil is like a weed killer. It helps reduce the bad guys so that the good guys can grow. And that helps for a happy, healthy gut. And that certainly helps for people that have ulcerative colitis, Crohn's, and celiac. And then the third is a lot of people that have inflammatory bowel diseases we know have anxiety, all right? More than 2 times as likely. And we know that CBD oil can help them with their anxiety. Number 1, because 90% of the serotonin made in your body is made in your gut. And if your gut's inflamed and angry, you're not making enough serotonin. So guess what? CBD oil reduces that inflammation, helps your body make more serotonin. Number 2, we know that CBD acts on the 5-HT1A receptor, which is your serotonin receptor. And when it attaches to that receptor, it activates that receptor exactly like serotonin would. So it literally acts like serotonin in your body, which helps reduce the anxiety associated with, oh man, I'm so fired up, I'm spitting. But it's helping affect the anxiety associated with these problems, okay? So thanks everybody for indulging me tonight. It was an awesome, awesome night. All the people that got on, I appreciate you so much. So, just like I tell my son every day before he goes to school, be your very best today. Hashtag never quit. And I believe that God wants the very, very best for you. And the day you believe that, it'll change your life forever. Have an awesome, awesome day.